Hello everyone and welcome to Quick Rant with Karan. So today we are going to discuss about the best investment opportunities, and if you're really planning to put some money for your future investments, I'll highly recommend you watch this video till the end. So one of the major pain points that everyone in today's current scenario is facing ki either whether they should start with stocks, or should they buy a flat or buy a house or buy a commercial property. So I like to bring some light to it, just like since everyone around it is trying to make a profit or trying to get their story straight. The thing is ki everything comes with a bit of risk. But when you're planning for something long term and you want something that really has value, so it depends. You can The best thing for that is gold. It's always liquid. There's a pretty decent return on it, and you at least have a solid piece of it. It's not like let's COVID hit and everything goes down, you don't have anything to exchange for it. Just like, let's say you're having stocks, it's only on paper. You go ahead and you find out that there's no buyer in the market, but gold, there's always going to be a buyer for it. But then there comes a point ki gold is not easy to store and it's not safe to store at house, so then you have to take the risk and store it in the bank locker. Even that also doesn't give you the surety कि आपका जो गोल्ड स्टोर हुआ है आपको वापस मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा if something happens. Then let's come to stocks. Stocks, I still believe, a decent option if you're having a very small amount of money. It's a good way to start your savings, and it's a good way to learn how the savings can grow over a period of time. But that's definitely not the best approach. Then comes buying a house. So this thing is something which is very controversial. Sometimes people say it's a good idea, and sometimes they say that it's not a good idea. So let me clear this very thing. When you buy a house, you need to see what you're buying. If you're simply buying a flat on a leased land, that's something I would never recommend. Because let's say, since just let me clear this out. The wealth is not created in a year or two, or even a decade or two decades. It takes generation to create wealth. So if you bought an apartment in a leased land, or you bought a piece of leased land, then your next generation is gonna have nothing. Even if they're gonna have that land on paper, leased land on paper, the amount at that time they'll have to pay to get that freehold is gonna be significant to that time. It's not going to be something that they're going to pay in today's rate, since the circle rate of that particular land would be high in like 50 years, 60 years down the line, and they would have to pay some amount for it. So that's definitely not going to be a small amount. Do always think what you're investing in. So the point then you will say कि करण हम कहाँ invest करें हमारे आसपास, since most of you guys are going to be in Delhi NCR or metro cities, then you're going to ask me कि what's the best place to invest. So I'll tell you, I'm in most of the cases, the people who are in Delhi NCR or Mumbai or any metro cities come from small towns. Just go there, find let's say you have a family house there, own house, find a more better piece of land nearby it, or if there's some good developer developing a land, buy a land. If you're not sure keep what's the right way, go and buy a house on that same land. Definitely, you're not going to get the best returns out of it. But 10 years, 20 years down the line, that's going to return on a very good scale. Even better in metro city, better than metro cities. Why? Because since tier 2 cities are growing at a scale which no one imagined, the big developers are also entering the tier 2 cities. So, what do you get when you buy a house with the land? You have a solid piece of land to your name that your generations will have. Just don't do anything, simply go back to your parents and ask them कि उन्होंने the house they are living in if you're from small city or town, just ask them कि the house your parents were living in, or the parental house that you have, कि उन्होंने किस रेट पे बाय करा था. And you'll be amazed to hear कि क्या returns थे. Worst case, maybe the returns are gonna be at least match the stock markets. Not definitely हर केस में ऐसा नहीं होता, but most of the cases I'm talking about. तो Simply go ahead to tier 2 cities, find a good developer, builder, and buy that piece of land. Now, when it comes to buying land, उसमें भी बहुत टेक्निकलिटीज आती हैं. How you get that thing sorted कि यार सबसे बड़ा concern everyone is having कि land is not a safe investment. That's not true. In today's day and age, government has made a lot of efforts to make things online. So you just simply have to type on, just go to on a website called Bhulek of any state. If it's UP, you'll type UP Bhulek. If it's Uttarakhand, you type Uttarakhand Bhulek. You just go to the plot number and you'll find the owner details. But that's not enough. Whenever you're buying a piece of land, you need to consult a civil advocate. Simply go to them, take the land papers with you, and tell them give you the tis sala. What does tis sala means? Tis sala means that the whole history of land in over the period of 30 years, how many times that land was exchanged and from whom it was exchanged. So it takes a lot of things into consideration, whether it was changed by a will or it was sold through a family member, then the partition was made. A lot of things are taken into consideration. So that's not something we can do. Just simply best it's handled by professionals. If you're buying a land for, let's say, 50 lakh rupees, they'll hardly charge you 30 to 40,000 rupees, and you'll get a clear picture of what you're buying. Let's say, and the easiest way, then there's option 2 as well to it. Go to bank and ask for a loan on that piece of land. Even though you don't need it, just simply go to them and tell them to fund you. You can pay off the loan in next 2 to 3 years. Even if you need, if needed, you can just simply pay off the loan in 2 years, and there will be no closure charges. Why I'm saying that? Because when banks give you loan on the property, they do a thorough diligence. Let's say, since I am a real estate developer, so whenever I go to a bank, I need to give them a thorough explanation for each and everything: how the unit is being built, how many units I'm having, what is the size of the unit. Then comes down to whether that land, how the land was exchanged, now how the land is gonna transfer to the company, and how I'm gonna hand over the house or the project to the next owners. So banks, when they do due diligence, then that's the best way. आप simply उनके जाओ, just ask for the loan, they'll ask you for the papers, then they'll connect with the developer or the property owner, and they'll do the rest for you. Simple as that. You don't need to pay anything. If there's anything else, so I what's the end of the story is, simply try and go ahead and invest in actual pieces of land rather than buying flats at extraordinary high prices. It's much better to rent a house, rent a flat in Delhi NCR or a good locality, and buy a house in something where you can actually own a piece of land. Be aware that the land should not be on lease, but that's no good for you, because you won't be able to hand it to your next generation. So with that, I'd like to end this video. Or if you have any queries, you have any suggestions, if you have anything that else that you might want to know about real estate or land, I'd be more than happy to help you. Thank you.